Oh my goodness, I have missed home so much. I kind of forget how much of a homebody I am until I go somewhere and I'm like, oh wow, like I miss my husband, I miss my kids, I miss the garden, the animals, all the things. So it just feels so good just to be back here. So different from when I left. When I left, we were having really cold days in the 40s, the fire was going. I came back and it feels like summer. Honestly, it's kind of hot and muggy. Been raining on and off in the 80s here. So the garden really doesn't know what's going on. My beans had taken a major hit whenever the frost came. You guys can see here, they were dying. I mean, the frost just really affected them. And I contemplated just like pulling them up. As you can see, they're just not doing well. But now that the weather is hot again, they are all producing now. And I picked a good bunch. Last night I harvested a huge bowl full. They're still putting on. And now that the weather's supposed to be warm for a little while longer, I'm just gonna leave them, see what happens. These actually look much better. These are more established plants too. But yeah, look at this. So many beans. I think I'm just gonna leave them. I love when I come out here and realize like I can immediately see all the beans that I missed. I am the worst about that, really. There's so many of them. Look how big this bean is. Nathan has been harvesting some of the leaves that were damaged and giving them to the rabbits. They actually really enjoyed that. And he's been picking them my nasturtiums and giving them little nasturtium snacks every day. It's really sweet to me to see how much he likes having the rabbits and how much he tends to them and stuff like that. I don't know. He's had his dog, Lily, our healer. That's Nathan's dog. But as far as like being attached to animals, Nathan just doesn't really get attached. And he has certainly enjoyed the rabbits a lot. Speaking of rabbits, you guys have been asking lots of questions if our doe got bred. We put, goodness, okay. So where do we start? We put every single female we had in with Taco, which is the one, say hi. Oh. Say hello. Hi. Which is the one that we, you guys said looked like Batman, has the Batman symbol on him. So we put every single doe we had in with Taco. He didn't do nothing, y'all. Like, he didn't do anything. So Nathan and I were like, what in the world? Because when we got him from our friends, they said that he was ready to breed. He literally just was not interested at all. Our does were like acting interested because we know they're at the breeding age. Taco just couldn't get it done. Well, then our other buck, the really pretty golden one, he is brothers. So his sisters are the white ones. So you can't breed them. So Nathan and I were just like, what in the world? Like, what is happening? I do know that their heat cycles changes. So what we have literally been doing is just adding in our does with the other male and seeing what happens. Because we did put in Coco and Chocolate, I think is what their names were. We put them in with the tan male and they weren't interested. So this has truly just been like really interesting, honestly, as we're trying to like figure out every day. We just keep moving them in there. We do think that there's a really good possibility that the white one got bred when we were farm sitting for Jess and Maya's. If that is the case, then today is the 10th. That would be next week. The end of next week we would start seeing signs of that. What you doing, love?
I'm gonna go get the eggs.
You're gonna go get the eggs? Okay. Will you let the chickens out too? Okay.
One of the baby chicks are roosters.
How do you know?
Because one of the baby chicks saying cock-a-doodle-doo. That's not what roosters do.
Yeah, that is what roosters do. I know, one of them ended up being a rooster. The chicks that I got from my friend in town, the Americana chicks, he sexed them. Of course, they were just a couple days old, and that's really easy to miss. And out of all of them, we ended up getting 12, and only one was a rooster. So we were like, that's really not that bad. I'm out here just giving hay. It's like you forget when you're gone out of town, like your morning routines and how much you enjoy it. Like I come out here in the morning, I give all the rabbits their hay for their bedding, their hay for their, you know, to eat. I feed them, I water them, we let the chickens out. Like you just get so used to those routines that for me, it was so weird, like going somewhere and just like sleeping in and not like getting up and having chores to do. So that was just, it was interesting, and I realize now just how much I really enjoy my chores. So this is the one that we believe is bred. And Charlie says she's gonna name her, which I feel like is appropriate, because if she's gonna be having babies on the farm, she deserves a name, right?
Yeah, but we already named her, and her name is Savannah.
Oh, her name's Savannah?
And she has a twin, which name is Hannah over there.
Hannah and Savannah. I like that, Charlie.
Okay. We do got a rooster. Why are you letting it out? It's okay. She's kind of scared of you, Mom.
When I left the kohlrabi, we're definitely at the size that you guys said I could start harvesting them. Just because of time, I never got around to do it. But I am going to go and harvest some kohlrabi. We're going to, I'm hoping to make like a kohlrabi hash with dinner. I'm making some pork chops. You guys would be so proud. Y'all have been so sweet and helpful, like just encouraging me just to cook and try it. And I really do appreciate that a lot. Y'all are really sweet. But I'm hoping to like grate up some kohlrabi and make it just like a hash, like you would a hash, like a hash brown with potatoes or something like that. And then the rest, I promised Nathan that I would save for his kohlrabi pickles that were fermented. Our friends Sean and Melanie made them back in the summer, and they were just really, really good. But these, I'm pretty sure, are definitely ready to be harvested. Oh yeah, this is certainly at the size to harvest. Oh my gosh, this is so wild. Look at that. June, what do you think about that? Wow, look at that. That is beautiful. Is it beautiful? Is it beautiful? So, that is a really good sized kohlrabi. This is one of those I grew that moments. Look at that. Wow. So pretty. And it's so weird, like for this to be such a big bulb, the roots are really small. So interesting. Wow, this is so exciting. I cannot wait to like go inside and start cooking this. Some of my favorite plants to grow, or varieties to grow, I guess you should say, are the ones that are really kind of versatile and you can use most of them. So let's say a cauliflower, for instance. You have all these leaves, same with the broccoli, you have all these leaves and then it only produces one head. So I like to really utilize the leaves of those and really get the most out of my plant. Same with this kohlrabi. I've been told that you can use these leaves. They are much thinner than that of like a broccoli leaf. They kind of almost resemble a collard to me. So I will use these in tonight's stir fry just to make sure that I'm not wasting any part of the plant. And I encourage you guys to do that as well. I know with some things it's a bit harder. Say a tomato, you know, you're not using like the tomato leaves and things like that. Or peppers, typically you're not using your pepper leaves. But with the fall and the winter garden, a lot of the things that you're growing are really versatile as far as using all of the plant. So that's something that I definitely take into consideration when I am growing the food to begin with. What is something that I can use most of the parts? Beets. I grow the beet root and I use that. No ma'am. But then I also use the greens off the beets. The turnips, I use the turnip greens that come from that. Then I also use the turnip itself. So for me, those are just things that I look for. And just it allows me to get the most out of my plant, honestly. Most of the radishes were ready to harvest whenever I left. I just simply didn't have time. So some of these radishes are huge. Look at this. That's so big. So I'm just coming through harvesting these, re-sowing them. We'll eat these with dinner tonight. Look at that. That is so huge. I've actually really enjoyed these too. So that's fun. I can't believe how big they got. I'd be curious to see if they become woody. Typically when you're growing radishes, for me, I can grow radishes early spring, but the summer is a no-go because it gets so hot that they end up getting like really woody in their texture and they just don't taste well. Typically you're not dealing with that when you're growing them in a cooler time of year, or if you're in a zone where you can grow them and it's cool all the time. Radishes do a lot better. They're not near as spicy, and then their texture's a lot better. But I am curious because these have gotten a bit bigger if they're gonna have that like woody texture to them or not. Regardless though, we just saute them up. I'm probably gonna roast these with some green beans and just some leafy greens that I have and just make some sort of little stir fry. It's a nice little harvest though. Alright guys, it is about to pour down rain here and I do not want to be caught outside with a handful of produce and babies on my hip. So I'm gonna run inside, get ready to cook this up for dinner. I am really excited. I think Nathan's gonna be really excited when he gets home from work and sees a little surprise that I'm gonna cook up for him for dinner. A little stir fry, a little kohlrabi hash, and some pork chops. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as I'm trying to get back into the swing of things as I've come home from vacation. Just taking a few days to kind of take it easy, slowly regroup. The time change really kind of threw me off, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm gonna go inside and get on this. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'll talk to you soon.